It's been really exciting and quite a learning experience. My first term, I've learned quite a bit, a lot more than I knew. I know a lot more today than I knew when I came in. How the system works, maybe some of it not all that great, but you learn how to navigate through the system and try to do the best you can for your district and for the issues that you feel most passionately about. I think it's been a good first term, and I'm really looking forward to coming back next year to complete some of the projects that I've been working on. Some of the things I'm really proud of are one, getting some notwithstanding language for the roof at our high school, which we've needed since last year, and the town bodies have finally approved those funds. So now we're able to do it without being penalized for the pitch, which saves our community a lot of money, and the folks back home are having a difficult time. So this savings for our community is something I feel pretty proud about. I'm also feeling very proud about working on some animal rights bills this session. We were able to work through the committee level, right through the House, and they passed the Senate just last night. 3 bills. One is a protection of pet, it's called the Pet Lemon Law, that actually protects people when they buy an animal from a pet store, if they choose to purchase an animal from a pet store, to be able to keep their pet if it's sick and still get reimbursed for some medical costs. In the past, they had to return the animal, which obviously people fall in love with their animal and they don't want to do that. The other bill that we passed was a requirement that animal control officers receive training. In the past, we did not have a law, so many people who came into the animal control position didn't have any training, and it's a very important position. They take care of sick and animals with rabies, and they're protecting the public, not only the public and the animals. So that is a very important bill, and it also has some funding coming from the spay and neuter program, which will pay for the training, because many ACOs had to pay for their own training, which isn't fair because they don't really make that much money. And the third is an animal cruelty law, which increases the penalty on anyone who performs an act of animal cruelty for the second time. And to me, I think, not only myself do I think that's an important piece of legislation, but the people in my community have spoken to me, written to me, and asked us to strengthen the animal cruelty laws, because obviously we need to make sure these types of people are receiving the adequate punishment that they deserve. We cannot have animals being in jeopardy, and there has to be a serious consequence for that behavior. So those are 3 things I'm really proud of. Being on the Education Committee, I was very excited about being involved with a reform package. I wasn't completely happy with the process, but we did work really hard early in the session at the committee level, speaking to the unions, to teachers, spent a huge amount of time talking to teachers. I learned so much. Most of it was already reconfirmed. The teachers in my community are awesome. They're hardworking, they do a great job, and I went through the Fairfield Public School system. My son did as well, and so I know what a great foundation we have in Fairfield and what great teachers we have. However, there are areas in the state where students are not getting what they need. I don't think it's solely based on teachers, though. I think there's a whole host of issues that result in the achievement gap. And I think this bill is a good first step to getting us closer to something that we can all be proud of, and obviously giving every child in the state of Connecticut a shot, a decent education, a fair and education is the right of every child. So I'm proud of that legislation. The governor said very clearly that he was going to go to gap financing, and that we weren't going to be borrowing any money to pay off our debt. We weren't going to be doing gimmicks. We weren't going to be playing games with the budget. Obviously, this session was supposed to be different. He said it was going to be different. And unfortunately, the budget that was passed the other night, which incidentally we only got a couple of hours before we were asked to vote on it, was exactly what he said it wasn't going to be. The people of Connecticut have sacrificed in this economy. They have changed the way they live their lives. They have cut back. They don't go out to dinner. They have restructured their businesses, and they expected the state to do it too. The governor said very clearly that he was going to put Connecticut on a different path. And that budget was not different. It was borrowing for our expenses. That's like me borrowing on a credit card, taking a cash advance on my credit card to pay my mortgage. That's unacceptable. That is not sustainable. So I'm very disappointed about that budget. And I think Connecticut needs a new path. We need to start electing a more balanced legislature. So in fact, we can have real representation for the people of Connecticut. The people have said very clearly that we are having a difficult time across the country, not just the state. And we all have to change the way things are done. So I'm not happy about the budget, but I'm hoping that next session we will have a more balanced legislature and that we'll be able to do things that make us more accountable, that get rid of our debt, and that representatives actually represent the people of Connecticut.